Again, it automatically smooths it out, but I do want to tighten up my edges. That's really important to me. So I'm going to just hit the edge a bit more, and I'll do the same on this edge here. I'll put on my symmetry for this because this is not as critical. Looks pretty good. And there's actually no need for me to sharpen that edge anymore. Let me get in there though, because I did want that edge to be a bit sharper. Or maybe I will pull a quick little line here and just show you how I can tighten that line if I wanted to. There's a number of ways I can do it. One way, for example, is I can go to my pinch tool, and if I just pull a pinch all the way down, that kind of pulls everything in, but you can see how sometimes you get an undesired effect. My favorite is actually going with the Mech AH cut. I could pull a line here. Now, one of the things I can do, I can change out of perspective, make sure I'm locked in. I can start my pull and then hold down shift, and that will restrict me to a straight line. Okay, so I'll start my pull, I'll hold down shift, and I can pull straight across and get exactly the look I want. Now I didn't want that pinch in the front, so I'm going to undo that. I'm going to try going back the other way and see if that kind of softens it a little bit and doesn't pull it in as much. So do that and hold. Beautiful. And that's what I want. Okay. So the last thing I need to do to finish this off is add a couple of dents, metallic dents. And one way that we do that with dealing with a stylized feel is we actually go to the slash. So the slash brush is nice because what I can do is change to my drag rectangle. Is I could pull a line and get this really cool looking slice or dent in the metal like that. Now you'll notice that I have a lot of sawtoothing and pixelation. That's because this geometry is essentially very low. We're only dealing with a very small file. This is what I like to do, and this is really important, and I can do it now on this piece. I can go up to an 8 or a 9. Again, with my computer, I take a risk. If I do that, I may crash. However, there's a cheat. Don't ask me why it works. It just does. What I do is I bring this down. I really don't need a level 1. I don't even need a level 2, honestly. So I'm going to bring it to a level 3. I'm going to say delete lower. What that does is that everything that was before this level is now gone. It's gone permanently. So if you don't want that to happen, you can't do this technique. However, when I go back up now, I'm only at a level 5, which means I can now go 2 more levels higher, and I'm not going to crash. I'm going to do that one more time, and I still see pixelation, which is not desired. So I'm going to go up to a level 7, and now I'm getting a clean line. So in keeping true to the actual concept art, I have a chip that is coming in at this direction, and I also have one down at the bottom, sort of like this. In fact, it's a little bit lower. It's a bit down here, like that. It does have some jagged edge, and that's fine. But what I'm going to do just to clean it up a little bit is I'm going to hold down Shift, bring my intensity down, and just hit that gently, just to soften that edge up a little bit. Same thing here. And then if I want to bring this back a little bit, in my concept art, this particular piece is actually very soft in here. The chip is focused more on the opposite side, so I'll soften that part out. So if this is a little too soft for you and you want to just make it pop a little bit more, once again, go into that Mech A cut. Because it happens to inflate, I wanted to deflate or cut in. So I'm going to hold down my Alt button and just slice that in gently right through there. And so nothing's perfect. That's not the effect that I wanted. It's definitely too curved. So I'm going to undo. And there are times where I just have to, live with it or go to a different brush. So I'm going to lower my brush, and pulling in this angle is a little challenging for me, so I'm going to spin this around and make it a bit more horizontal. There we go. Excellent. I'm going to just soften that just a touch around there and then pull that out. Let's see how we look. Looks excellent to me. Again, you can see what happens. Now, how do we fix this? Let's assume, okay, well, that's going inside the book, and that's not a big deal, but I'm not happy with that, and I want to fix it. And you can see I'm already many steps ahead. In order for me to back up, I'm going to lose all this work that I just did. All right, so what I'm going to do is come in here, and I want to create a mask. And by creating a mask, that will isolate this area. So I'm going to hold down my mask, my control button for my mask, and I'm going to drag over this whole area here. That pretty much covers the area that we're looking for. And so now we're just dealing with this one spot. And so now I could come in here, soften that up, and see how that whole thing is looking. This is a good time for me to get rid of the lazy mouse, because that's actually being a deterrent to what I'm trying to do. Okay. Now I'll get rid of my mask. Most of it's gone, but some of it's still there. And I'm going to lower my division level down a bit, as I mentioned earlier. I'm going to be very careful. Okay. And let's increase that back up and see if we took too much out. And I don't think so. I think we're good. Bring this down and get just a little bit more smooth in there. Pull all that out. Okay, cool. So I'm going to add back that detail, but I'm going to make sure this time on the Mech A brush that I definitely change my back face masking. This way now, I hold down Alt, and that's a bit too powerful. Okay, there, that should work fine.